Hi, welcome to Forja das Deusas. My name is Nefer, and if you, just like me, are passionate about mythology, fantasy, and character creations, so you are in the right place, and you are welcome to stay. Well, I've been preparing myself to start this channel for a long time. And now it's finally here, a special place where I can share with you a piece of my journey learning how to sculpt by myself. And I hope this adventure can be as fun for you as it for me, despite my accent. For this first project, I hadn't chosen Hathor or any other character yet to start with. My initial idea was to build the body in separate parts, like those articulated dolls, BJG style, and then create molds for those pieces. In my mind, it was a great idea. This would make the process faster and more dynamic. But after thinking it through, I realized that it didn't really make much sense. See, the challenge of this channel is to create a different character every month. Okay, but my true purpose is to learn sculpting. And using pre-made molds, even if they are my own molds, doesn't really take me out of my comfort zone, right? Actually, every character would end up looking the same. Same face, same proportions, same everything, over and over again. And definitely that is not what I want. Each character I've designed has her own personality. They came from the same imaginary world in my mind, okay, but has her own personality and deserves her own unique build. So that idea was left behind later on the middle of the process, but for now I'm still doing separate parts. I started by building the base structure with aluminum foil to make it strong and reduce the amount of clay needed to make this body. Here I'm using air dry porcelain clay, which I absolutely love it. It's soft, moist, easy to work with, and dry relatively fast, which means you can finish a piece in just a few days. And here comes my first newbie tip that I didn't follow. When working with air dry clay, always work in layers. Always. Start with a simple base shape, let it dry, and then build the details on top. Repeat this process as many times as needed. After that, you can refine it, sanding or adding more details with your sculpting tools. This makes the process so much more enjoyable, more pleasurable, and the results so much better. I didn't do that because I didn't know this step. So it's taken me way longer than I expected, but don't worry. Thanks to the magic of editing, you won't have to suffer through that with me. I have already cut off the bad parts and left only the good ones. You're welcome. If you prefer, you can jump through the video and watch it randomly. I've marked each section: body, belly, hips, legs, etc. Everything is organized for you. Feel free, I will not judge you. Maybe just a little bit, who knows? Now the belly is done and fully dry, it's time to move to the back, focusing on the diva booty and those beautiful sculpted hips. As you can see on my desk, I use a lot of guide cards. Seriously, a ridiculous amount. Just to keep everything in proportion. Because trying to sculpt perfect symmetry, front, back, left, right, while you are spinning the piece around, flipping upside down, checking from weird angles, yeah, pretty much impossible without some kind of guide. And those little templates are so easy to do with any kind of paper, but incredibly helpful. And I strongly recommend using 1,000 of them. Whenever you needed that extra help. Look at this profile. We are actually getting somewhere. These are my little victories. Trust in the process. All the characters I've ever created and all the drawings I have planned for this channel are deeply connected to the sacred feminine in all its expressions. For me, every woman is a goddess. So here you will see every kind of characters, from ordinary women to hybrid creatures, travelers, mythical and mystical beings, folkloric spirits, warriors and goddess, all kinds of powerful female expressions, from the light side and the darkness. So let's dive into this magical feminine world. I'm passionate about every form of artistic expression. I've been drawing for a long time, digitally, with acrylics and watercolor, and I'm always searching for new ways to express myself. Sculpting and modeling were always something that I wanted to try. But it's not an easy hobby to maintain here in Brazil. It's very expensive sometimes. Still, after watching countless hours of incredible artists here on YouTube, something clicked in my mind and I thought, it's time! It's time to try this material, to develop these skills and make art. And now, I truly believe this is going to be a really fun way to bring to life the characters that, just for now, only exist in my imagination. And I hope you enjoy me in this adventure. Right now, I'm only using 2 types of clay, air dry porcelain and biscuit, which is very common here. But I do want to try other materials, especially the ones that need to go in the oven. I'm not exactly sure how they will work or how I will do this, but I'm going to find out. So don't forget to subscribe and follow along, and feel free to send me your suggestions, ideas, and your best tips. Ooh la la! My first torso is finally done. Now it just needs to dry to be sanded for finished touches. But tell me, does it look good or not? And now the ultimate challenge begins. Making both legs actually looks like they belong to the same body. Even using the same guide, sculpting both sides at the same time, side by side, it's still incredibly difficult. Maybe only second to sculpting hands. But for the sake of learning and entertainment, enjoy my struggle. At this point in the process, when I was working on the ties, something pretty interesting started to happen. The presence of the goddess Hathor was already beginning to show herself. Some characters just hang out quietly in my imagination, but others, they wait impatiently for me to finally start their project. And Hathor is definitely one of the impatient ones. Because while I was sculpting the thighs and also the hips, they started turning out a bit more full and athletic than I had planned. even using those little guide templates. And I honestly couldn't imagine how I was supposed to give those same strong legs to any other character I already have in mind, all drawn and waiting for their turn. There's only one character who would look perfectly with the stronger ties that belongs to this body. That's Hathor. Well, maybe two. Hathor and the Aries warrior. But the warrior is an Amazon, a true fighter, and she means to have a defined and sculpted abs. So this softer, curvier body, it really belongs to Hathor. From that moment on, she was already chosen. The first character of the channel, coming to life almost on her own. And I think that's the magic of the creative process. When I suddenly realized that my subconscious was quietly guiding my conscious choices all along. It sounds a little crazy sometimes, I know, but it makes perfect sense. And this is my concept for the goddess Hathor, an illustration I created a long time ago, but now she's been given the chance to live a completely different life, a new version of herself through sculpture. This project has the perfect balance, at least in my opinion, between the woman and the animal she represents, honoring all the richness of Egyptian culture and mythology that I love, by the way, still adding my own special touch, of course. So we have the ears, the muzzle, the horns, the tail, and the hoofs of the sacred cow. At the same time, this feminine body, with full curved hips, an elegant posture, and a confident walk. A sensual presence that shapes the personality of this goddess. After all, she's the goddess of fertility, creativity, inspiration, the arts, and yeah, the pleasure of being alive. This is her essence, her soul, and that's exactly what I want to express in this project. With all that in mind, now I can finally jump into the fun part of the process, creating the character's specific features, starting with the Hathor's hooves. Honestly, this was one of the most entertaining parts of the whole sculpture. Trying to create a cow's leg while still keeping enough human proportions so it would fit perfectly into the project was both challenging and fun, and maybe even a little dramatic, because I actually had to sculpt the legs more than once. The little stick I used to hold the leg while I'm sculpting made the structure way too thin and a bit fragile, so of course it broke a few times during the sanding process, which means I had to sculpt the leg again. Almost as if these legs were testing my patience and my commitment to the process. But I won, and honestly, it still ended up being one of the most fun parts of the entire sculpture, which means you're gonna see a lot of hybrids characters in this channel. And when I say a lot, I really means a lot. So tell me in the comments what's your favorite hybrid character. I'm not sure if it was just a little bit of bad luck or who knows, maybe Mercury was retrograde. But I had a little issue with my external hard drive and some videos got corrupted. Yeah, luckily the universe was on my side. And I still had a few short clips and several photos saved on my phone to help me continue telling this story to you. Short clips like this one, with Hathor's body already assembled in her final position, with all the pieces that I already have done. And honestly, it's kind of made everything more interesting. Now you can see all the real behind the scenes and my improvisations, those little surprises that creativity process always throws at us. In the end, that's what art really is. A path full of unexpected twists, improvisations, but one that always leads us to something magical in the end. I want you to walk this path with me, not only the polish and beautiful final results, right? Once everything was finally attached and starting to look like a real body, it was time to add the wire armature, the inner skeleton of the sculpture. Normally, this is actually the first step in the whole process, because just like our bones, the armature gives straight, balance, and stability to the figure, making sure nothing collapses or snaps halfway through. In my special case, since the body had started as separate pieces, and you know why, I didn't need it at the beginning. But now that everything is flowing okay, was coming together, the sculpture finally needed a spine. A little structure to hold all this personality in place. So I carefully inserted the wire through the torso and legs, adjusting the posture, checking the balance, and make sure she could actually stand, both physically and symbolically. And to be honest, seeing everything together, it felt like giving her the very first breath of life. Did you notice that I had extra pair of breasts? They were from my first attempt at just sculpting the torso separately and didn't work out. But they turned out so beautiful that I decided to save them from later and try again. Well, they didn't work here either, so now they were going back to my little bucket of spare body parts. Nothing too dark or Dexter-like, I promise. Just a few random pieces from practicing. Who knows? Maybe one day I will create a Frankenstein-inspired character and finally use all those random bits I've been saving. The point is, I love when my characters have a beautiful, sexy neckline. You know what I mean. And with Hathor, it couldn't be no different. She deserves a gorgeous décolleté to match those stunning hips of her. So it's time to really focus on sculpting her beautiful pair of boobs. And here are some photos showing how her body turned out, all assembled with her lovely breast in place, and the neck area ready for sanding and finishing. And here comes the hands. What can I even say about sculpting hands, besides the fact that it's pure chaos? This was definitely the fourth pair of hands I had sculpted. I was already started to wonder, why did I give her hooves on her hands too? It would have saved me a lot of broken fingers, because every time I started feeling confident, thinking, okay, now I got it, there was always that one little finger that insisted on breaking. But okay, I'm finally managed to create two hands, 5 fingers on the position I wanted, beautifully sculpted, or at least sculpted well enough. And honestly, for my first character, I am very proud of these hands. And here's a tiny spoiler for the next video. That little body in the background, yeah, that's the next character coming to life. One hand's bigger than another. No one will notice, but okay, good luck next time. And this is Hathor, almost completely done, with all her pieces assembled and her tail in place. Only the head was missing. And I will admit it right now that I use a ready-made mold. Because honestly, if I insisted in sculpting the head from scratch, I would still be trying right now. One day I will get there. I will be able to sculpt a perfect face from scratch. I am just not in that level yet, so this mold helped me a lot. Of course, I did few adjustments. I removed the eyes and the unnecessary eyelashes and sculpted the nose. Because for Hathor, I want that hybrid look, somewhere between a muzzle and a human-animal nose. A large muzzle, separating the eyes a little bit, more animal than human. Then I sculpted the ears, adding the horns. And here she is, our goddess Hathor, one of the oldest, most beautiful and luminous archetypes of the sacred feminine. Finished. Well, almost finished. Sorry, her hair, her clothing, the painting job and accessories, all that details that truly bring her spirit to life, you'll see on the next video, which will be out in a few days. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when the next chapter of this creation goes live. In the meantime, tell me in the comments, what do you think about my newbie process? Have you ever worked with dry clay? Do you have any special tips to share with me? Please? I would love to hear from you. And of course, I will be waiting for you here at the Forja das Deusas. See you soon!